So my dear student, in the previous lecture I have discussed all the topics regarding colligative property except osmotic pressure. Okay, so I am going to discuss today the fourth colligative property that is related to osmotic pressure. Okay, so let's try to understand this concept first. This is totally a different concept that I have discussed earlier, just like RLVP, relative loading in vapor pressure, elevation in boiling point, depression, freezing point, all these property. This is totally different property, and I think this is one of the new concept that you are going to study today. So try to focus over here and be prudential about that. See what is happening and what is the real mechanism, because this is the topic which is very practical. You can see this topic in day-to-day life, just like in RO system, reverse osmosis system that you use to purify water in your household. Okay, so this is one of the practical thing you can feel in everyday life. So just try to focus on these things what I am going to teach you today. So I have discussed earlier ki if you are going to prepare a solution, then solution will be made of solute plus second component will be solvent for a binary solution. Okay, now in a binary solution, if you will see particle size, I am just going to define according to the solute and solvent according to the particle size. So the solute will be the component which will be in the, इसका size क्या होगा, तो this will be in the size larger, and those component which are having a smaller size, that will be called as the solvent. Okay, so according to the size, generally this is the this is one of the general thing that if a substance or if a component which are having larger size, that will be called as the solute, and the substance which will be having or the component which will have a smaller size, that will be called as the solute. Okay, now what used to happen over here, what is the actual mechanism of the osmosis, just try to understand. If just I am taking a vessel, and in this vessel I am just going to put a solution. Okay, and scene is like that. This is a semi permeable membrane. Okay, now you may see so many new concept that you will see in this topic that you have not even listened earlier. So just like osmotic pressure itself, second is semi-permeable membrane. So I am just going to define this first, semi-permeable membrane. So semi-permeable membrane hota kya? What is semi-permeable membrane? So you can define it the membrane which allow to pass selective particles. Okay, so just you can understand it. If in the household, if you used to prepare tea, then what used to happen, you used to take a permeable membrane like that. Okay, and after preparation of tea, what you used to keep it, just you used to keep it on the above the glass, and what used to happen, only you will see over here tea leaf is there. This membrane is not going to allow to pass tea leaf, only this membrane is allowed to pass only tea that you have to drink. Okay, so this particular thing used to behave like a semi-permeable membrane. Now if you will see the definition of semi-permeable membrane, then you will understand the semi-permeable membrane is the substance or the membrane which allows the particle to pass through selectively from it. Okay, so now I think you all have understood the definition of semi-permeable membrane. Now I am going to just generalize this concept in the solution. I am just going to correlate these things with the solution, how the semi-permeable membrane works with the solution, and how we will define the osmotic pressure while using that semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so just try to understand one thing. what is the actual mechanism? I am just making a semi-permeable. I am just taking a vessel, and in this vessel, this is a semi-permeable membrane. This is a semi-permeable membrane. Okay. Now I am just putting here pure water. This is pure water, and in this compartment I am just putting here saline water. And you all know what is saline water, in which there is an amount of H2O plus NaCl, sodium chloride. Okay, so saline water. Now understand these things. What used to happen over here? First of all, here if you will see, here is pure water and here is semi-permeable membrane, and the next compartment is filled with the saline water. Now what will happen? Here is pure water. Here if you will see, then the pure water, I have already defined semi-permeable membrane allows to pass selective particle, and that selective particle is solvent. Okay, so you can understand the semi-permeable membrane allows only solvent molecules to pass through it. So here this is pure water and this will be pure solvent. What used to happen over here? Initially the flow of solvent molecule, that means pure water, will take place from this side to this side. Okay, and because here is semi-permeable membrane, and semi-permeable membrane allows only solvent molecules to pass through it. So what will happen? The level of water in this direction will decrease. Here level of water will decrease, and here this level will get increased. Okay, here this level will get increased. Okay, so I am just drawing a new figure over here. What used to happen over here? So we have already seen. So here the compartment, here it was a semi-permeable membrane, and here it was pure water, and here it was saline water, and in which there is a little amount of NaCl was there. NaCl plus H2 was there. Here it was pure water, that is pure solvent. Okay, now what used to happen? Due to presence of semi-permeable membrane, so since semi-permeable membrane allows solvent molecules to pass through it selectively, then what used to happen? The solvent molecule just started flowing from this side to this side, solvent molecule, with the help of, due to presence of pores in the semi-permeable membrane, and here the level of this side will get increased. Now what used to happen? If you will apply a pressure over here, just try to understand. I am just gonna apply pressure over here, and that pressure is defined as pi. Okay, now if you are going to apply pressure in the direction of solvent solution, this is, you can say it is a solution. Due to application of pressure, what used to happen? The particle will start flowing from the flow of solvent molecules will get stopped. Okay, the pressure at which the flow of solvent molecules will get stopped from pure solvent molecules to solution side, that pressure is called the osmotic pressure. So you can define it, osmotic pressure, over here. And this is called as pi. So now I am just writing the definition of osmotic pressure. The pressure pi at which, or you can write it in the well defined manner, the pressure which we apply along solution side so that the flow of solvent molecules get a stop from pure solvent to solution side, that pressure is called as osmotic pressure. This pressure is called as the osmotic pressure. Okay, so we have defined the osmotic definition of osmotic pressure. Okay, now just understand these things. After application of osmotic pressure, what will happen if you will take a container and in this there is a semi-permeable membrane. This is a semi-permeable membrane. Here this is a pure solvent molecule, and here this is a solution. Okay, and you have applied a pressure over here and you called it as a osmotic pressure pi. This is a osmotic pressure. So due to application of osmotic pressure, what will happen? The flow of solvent molecules will get restricted and from pure solvent side to solution side. Now just understand these things. Again you are just going to increase this pressure. Okay, just we are increasing the value of pi, magnitude of. Then what will happen? The flow of solution will take place, or you can say that the flow of solvent molecule will get started from pure solution side to solvent side. Okay, so this process will be called as the reverse osmosis. Okay, now you can define as the reverse osmosis as the pressure or the process. If you are going to apply pressure more than the osmotic pressure, then the flow of solvent molecule will get a start from the solution side to pure solvent side. That process is called as the reverse osmosis process. And one of the good practical example you can see in your day-to-day life is a reverse osmosis pressure is RO system that we use to purify the water in our household, in which the process which is going to apply, which we use to the scientist which has applied this process is called as the reverse osmosis. In that, so what used to happen over there, just the process reverse osmosis is we are going to use over there, and there is a selective movement of solvent molecules from solution side to pure solvent side. And the water contains so many impurities like that, and when the reverse osmosis process is applied over there, then what used to happen, the pure water molecules will get selectively passed from the semi-permeable membrane, and impure substance will get stick towards the solution side, and after purification we will get the purified water. Okay, and that is a potable water that we can drink over there. Okay, so this is one of the best example that we used reverse osmosis pressure in our day-to-day life. Just you can understand another example, just like our skin. First example for osmotic pressure is RO system, and I'm just writing second example is our human skin or anyone's skin. Skin is just work as the semi-permeable membrane. If you will see, if this is a skin, then you will see there are so many pores that you can see on the skin. Okay, so many pores are there on the skin, and this skin allows selective particles to pass through inside the body, and they don't allow to pass just all these impurities that is not very useful, that is very pernicious for us, that is not gonna be passed through our skin. So second best example that you can see in day-to-day life for the reverse osmosis process is, or semi-permeable membrane is our skin. Okay, or any skin that selectively allows definite particle that you can pass through the permeable membrane. Okay, so this was the definition of osmotic pressure, reverse osmosis process. Now I am just going to quantitatively define the reverse osmosis pressure. So if you will see in the reverse osmosis process, what used to happen, already I have discussed the reverse osmosis process. Now I am just going to define it quantitatively. Okay, so in the quantitative point of view, if you will define, you all know the ideal gas equation, PV is equals to nRT. The same thing that I am going to use over here, PV is equals to nRT concept, again we will use. So I have denoted osmotic pressure as pi. So if you will see, generally we used to define ideal gas equation, PV is equals to nRT. Okay, here I am just assuming it pressure as the osmotic pressure, and I am just going to define is pi. Pi V is equals to nRT. And now already I have earlier discussed everything regarding concentration term, and if you will see number of moles per unit volume, that we used to call it as the concentration. Means if this is a solution Okay, this is a solution, and there are number of moles of solute molecules is in, number of moles of solute molecule is n, and the volume of solution is V. If you want to define the concentration of the solution, then number of moles of solute by volume of solution. Okay, so again, if you will put this scene in this relationship, then you will get to know the relationship pi is equals to n by V into RT, where R is universal gas constant and where temperature will be in the Kelvin scale. Just focus on these things, otherwise you will at the time of solution of numericals you will get wrong answer over here. Okay, and in the option the temperature, if you are taking the temperature in degree centigrade, the option will be given also, and if you are taking the temperature in Kelvin, the option will be, answer will be in the option also. So you have to focus that you have to take the temperature in the Kelvin, and R is universal gas constant, that is the value of R is 8.314 joule per mole per Kelvin. So you can define as pi is equals to CRT. Okay, so this is osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure, this is concentration of solution, this is, you need to know, you need to understand the exact meaning of each and every term in this formula, otherwise you will get wrong in answer. Okay, it will be very difficult for you to understand the questions when it comes in the exam. Okay, this is universal gas constant, and this is temperature in Kelvin. Okay, so any question used to come, just verify these things. What is this? What is the exact meaning of anything? What is given in the question? Just try to concise all these things, data that is given in the question, and just focus on the solution part first. Okay, so already we have given, and the unit of pi maybe it will be in ATM, it may be in mmHg, it may be in Pascal, it may be in Newton per meter square. So just focus on the option first and try to solve regarding that. Later on we will discuss so many numericals on all this colligative property. In hope so in today's in next coming lecture I will be discussing all the numericals regarding colligative property and 1-2 factor. Okay, so in next lecture I will be defining 1-2 factor, what is 1-2 factor, and what happens when why the concept of 1-2 factor comes in the existence, what is the reason behind that. So here all the colligative property I have completed. Just I am going to write all the colligative property over here, and first colligative property was RLVP, and that was equals to delta P upon P naught. Okay, delta P upon P naught. Second was elevation in boiling point, elevation in boiling point, and that was equals to delta T B is equals to kV into M, that was molality. Already I have discussed everything in the details. Now third point is elevation volume, and third is depression in freezing point. And the same formula was like that, delta T F is equals to Kf into M, molality, and we used to call Kf is cryoscopic constant, and Kv is ebullioscopic constant or molar elevation constant, or Kf is called as the molar deflation constant. And fourth colligative property that I have discussed today, that is fourth number, and that is osmotic pressure, and that osmotic pressure pi is equals to CRT. Now just try to understand one thing. Most of the students used to do something wrong over here. Why? Because where we can use all this formula, only there is a certain limitations, means there is certain limiting point of using this formula, and that is only we can use this formula when there is no any case of association and dissociation. When a case of association or dissociation arises, means why I am telling you that case of association and dissociation, the reason behind that is the solute may get associate or dissociate when we are going to add it in the solution for the while we are going to add it in the solvent for the formation of solution. So when the solute is going to associate or when the solute is going to dissociate, then the observed colligative property will not be the same solution, that is the theoretical colligative property. So due to this reason, sometimes after calculation you may get an answer which should be more and from the experimental value, and sometimes you will get the solution which should be less from the experimental value or from the empirical value. So due to this association and dissociation, the amount of colligative property, the value of magnitude of colligative property used to get changed. And why? Because due to association and dissociation, the case of the nature of solute particle get arises over there, because we already have defined the colligative property, the property of the solution, which does not depends upon the nature of solute. Okay, but when it the solute is going to associate or dissociate in the solution, then what will happen? The magnitude of the colligative property started depending upon the nature of the solute particle. That's why we have to use another parameters, and that is called as the Venturi factor. So before going to Venturi factor, I am just going to discuss over here the relative lowering in vapor pressure, elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point, and osmotic pressure. The formula which is written over here, all these formula we can use only for without association or dissociation of solute particle. Okay, just understand what is the actual what is the meaning of association and dissociation. Just understand one thing: you are just going to prepare a solution, and just I am taking it a solution which is going to prepared by a solvent, and the solvent I am taking it as water, and here I am just putting solute as C6H12O6, that is glucose. Because glucose, if you are going to put glucose into the water, then glucose C6H12O6 is not going to dissociate in this water as a solvent. So here the case will get it as without association or dissociation. So first of all, I wanna tell you, if the question is coming like that, these types of solute C6H12O6, second solute is urea, third is C12H22O11, that is water. All these types of solute which is not dissociable or which is not associable while addition of any solvent, then you have to be jovial. Just put it, just you don't have to be panic about that, because you will get save time over there, because there is no any calculation for Venturi factor, because the solute is not going to associate or dissociate into the solution. Okay, into the solvent after addition for the formation of solution. Okay, but when it the solute here I am taking solute is like that, but when the solute will be, if solute will be just like solute is NaCl, CaCl2, MgSO4, Na2CO3, NaOH, if the solute is like that. Okay, generally I am just taking solute as the ionic compound. Generally ionic compound used to get break when it ionic solvent is there. Okay, so because due to presence of dielectric constant. Okay, so here the solute NaCl, Na2CO3, MgCl2, all these solute used to get dissociate or associate inside the solution. That's why the observed colligative property will be different from the empirical value. That's why you have to add some another additional thing in the formula, and that formula is Venturi factor. And my dear student, that Venturi factor is one of the most important factors, one of the most important concept for the JEE Mains and advanced examination. So I will be delivering my lecture for Venturi factor in the next class. So be ready for that class. That will be one of the most interesting class. Okay, I think and hope so. Just go through all the topic that I have discussed, or I have completed all the colligative property today. Just go to solve the questions of solve example in Cengage. Not another book. You don't have to follow another book. Just what I am just suggesting you, just follow the Cengage, one of the best book that is written for that has been is the concept of colligative property that has been written over there in well defined manner. Every questions you will be able to solve after watching this video. So just go through all these video first. Otherwise, if you want watched all these video, then you won't be able to solve the question of Cengage. So first watch all the videos, share all the videos as much as possible, because just try to be philanthropist first. If you will share all the video, then definitely I will get benefited, my organization will get benefited, and definitely you and your all friends will get benefited, because here there is a quality of a study I am just going to provide over here during the quarantine. So I will be delivering my next lecture tomorrow on the 1-2 factors. So thanks for this lecture today. Bye.